Today, Mommy is reading The Keping Quilt by our favorite children's author, Patricia Polacco. And I believe this is a narrative book as told by the narrator. And I don't think Ava has lines, unfortunately. But if she does, she'll read them.
Yep, I'm just going to stay here and drink it.
This is a new book for us. We got this recently on our trip. So I have not even really looked at it.
Yeah.
When my great-grandma Anna came to America, she wore the same thick overcoat and big boots she had worn for farm work. But her family weren't dirt farmers anymore. In New York City, her father's work was hauling things on a wagon, and the rest of the family made artificial flowers all day. Everyone was in a hurry, and it was so crowded, not like in back home Russia. But all the same, it was their home, and most of their neighbors were just like them. When Anna went to school, English sounded to her like pebbles dropping into shallow water. Shh, shh, shh. In 6 months, she was speaking English. Her parents almost never learned, so she spoke English for them, too. The only things she had left of back home Russia were her dress and the babushka she liked to throw up into the air when she was dancing.
The babushka she liked it.
I guess they call the scarf the babushka because that's what they wear. Maybe she calls it that. I don't know. And her dress was getting too small. After her mother had sewn her a new one, she took her old dress and babushka. Then from a basket of old clothes, she took Uncle Vladimir's shirt, Aunt Havala's nightdress, and an apron of Aunt Natasha's. "We will make a quilt to help us always remember home," Anna's mother said. "It will be like having the family in back home Russia dance around us at night."
So I think she calls her little scarf babushka.
Maybe they call that babushka, and then because the grandmothers wear them, they just call them babushka?
No, that's not the thing. She named her scarf.
That's what it said?
Mm-hmm.
She named it?
It says after her mother had sewn her a new one, she took her old dress and babushka. So I think she named it.
I don't know. It's a good guess. And so it was. Anna's mother invited all the neighborhood ladies. They cut out animals and flowers from the scraps of clothing. Anna kept the needles threaded and handed them to the ladies as they needed them. The border of the quilt was made of Anna's babushka. Can you see that? On Friday nights, Anna's mother would say the prayers that started the Sabbath. The family ate challah and chicken soup. The quilt was the tablecloth.
Wow.
Anna grew up and fell in love with great-grandpa Sasha. To show he wanted to be her husband, he gave Anna a gold coin, a dried flower, and a piece of rock salt, all tied into a linen handkerchief. The gold was for wealth, the flower for love, and the salt so their lives would have flavor. She accepted the hanky. They were engaged.
Yay!
And she's sitting on the quilt.
The quilt is a big memory.
And look, they're getting married under the quilt.
Oh, wow.
Under the wedding chuppah, Anna and Sasha promised each other love and understanding. After the wedding, the men and women celebrated separately. Here is the whole picture. Oh, and they wrapped the baby in that same quilt.
That quilt holds a lot of memories.
Sure does. When my grandma Carly was born, Anna wrapped her daughter in the quilt to welcome her warmly into the world. Carly was given a gift of gold, flour, salt, and bread. Gold, so she would never know poverty. A flour, so she would always know love. Salt, so her life would always have flavor. And bread, so that she wouldn't never know hunger. Carly learned to keep the Sabbath and to cook and clean and do washing. Married you'll be someday, Anna told Carly. And already she's a bride. Again the quilt became a wedding hoopah, this time for Carly's wedding to Grandpa George. Men and women celebrated together, but they still did not dance together. In Carly's wedding bouquet was a gold coin, bread, and salt. And then they have a baby. Carly and George moved to a farm in Michigan, and great-grandma Anna came to live with them. The quilt once again wrapped a new little girl, Mary Ellen. Oh. Mary Ellen called Anna Lady Grandma. She had grown very old and was sick a lot of the time. The quilt kept her legs warm.
Quilt.
The quilt again. Yes, there it is.
We love it.
There's the quilt celebrating a birthday. Wow. On Anna's 98th birthday, the cake was a Coolidge, a rich cake with raisins and candied fruit in it.
Wow.
I do apologize if I call that cake wrong. I've never even heard of that cake before.
I never even saw it.
And it's with her, I guess, as she passed away. Oh. When great-grandma Anna died, prayers were said to lift her soul to heaven. My mother, Mary Ellen, was now grown up. There's the quilt.
I love the quilt.
When Mary Ellen left home, she took the quilt with her.
The quilt is kind of like my little pool. I call it cave care.
And look, the quilt again. When she became a bride, the quilt became her hoopah. For the first time, friends who were not Jews came to the wedding. My mother wore a suit, but in her bouquet were gold, bread, and salt. And the quilt. The quilt welcomed me, Patricia, into the world. Oh, baby Patricia Polaco. And it was the tablecloth for my first birthday party. Oh.
I love the quilt.
At night, I would trace my fingers around the edges of each animal on the quilt before I went to sleep. I told my mother stories about the animals on the quilt. She told me whose sleeve had made the horse, whose apron had made the chicken, whose dress had made the flowers, and whose babushka went around the edge of the quilt. The quilt was a pretend cape when I was in the bull ring, or sometimes a tent in the steaming Amazon jungle. Oh, that quilt is very special. At my wedding to Enzo Mario, men and women danced together. In my bouquet were gold, bread, and salt, and a sprinkle of wine, so I would always know laughter. There she is getting married under the same hoopah quilt.
It's going to get passed down all the time until it disappears.
Oh. 20 years ago, I held Tracy Denise in the quilt for the first time. Someday, she too will leave home and she will take the quilt with her. Oh,
wholesome book.
The end. And thank you to everyone who stayed for the reading of The Keeping Quilt.